Hello, everyone, and welcome to the review of round one of the NFL draft with your host of Hawk Talk Football. And by the way, I've been thinking of changing the name because it sounds very similar to Hawk Talk that has been happening on other episodes with the NFL. So I'm thinking of changing that. And I know that this is different than what I did with the gaming. So we're switching over to more of a sports preview and approach, and I know a lot about football myself, and so this has gained me a lot more subscribers. And remember, we're on the road to 100 subscribers, so please like, comment, and click that subscribe button. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. And so yeah, let's get into this round one of the NFL draft here. And I know this is different than gaming, and I'm sorry with the quick change. So that's my doing, but this has proved to be essential, and so I'm still gonna have my gaming videos out there, and I'm gonna have my talk videos out there. I think this is gonna be a big increase for us and gonna really help the channel here. So yeah, let's get into it. And I'm super excited, and I'm gonna talk a lot about the NFL, put a lot of NFL shorts out there and NFL videos out there. And let's get into it. Okay, so Cam Ward was the first person to go off the board to the Tennessee Titans. And it says here that Ward transferred to Miami after playing at Incarnate Word for 2 seasons and Washington State for another 2. Rips passes into tight windows, makes layered throws over the middle. I think we all knew that the Titans were going to pick Cam Ward, and I think it was just a really great pick the Titans made here. Gonna be their day one starter at quarterback, probably, and I think he's gonna be really good quarterback for them. Really great choice here. Titans did what they're supposed to do, grabbing a great player off the board quickly. I know that throughout the draft, the huge buzz was Shedeur Sanders. He was eventually picked at 144, but it surprised a lot of people that even round 1, 2, 3, and 4 was not drafted, but he got drafted in round 5. And so, but yeah, it was just a big buzz throughout the whole entire NFL draft. And I have NFL draft short videos if you want to see. But let's get into the second pick, cornerback / wide receiver as well. 2-way player, Travis Hunter from Colorado to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think this was a very, very great pick for the Jaguars. They traded up for this pick. They had to give up a lot for this pick, but the Browns, they would then move to the 5th spot. Jaguars moved up to the 2nd spot here and acquired a great player. And I heard that Cohen, the head coach of the Jaguars, I saw interviews and I've been researching it a lot. And he says that he's going to play Travis Hunter. He's going to try to acquire him in the offense and defense. So he's going to try to play him both ways, both as a wide receiver and both as a cornerback. And I think that's just very exciting to see as an NFL fan myself. And yeah, I think just amazing that the Jaguars did this. They did have to give up a first-round pick as well and other picks, but they had to give up a first-round pick for next year to the Browns. But I think this was just a great pick for the Jaguars here. And you know myself, I'm a Seahawks fan. We got pick 18. But let's get to pick 3 here, Abdul Carter to the Giants. The Giants were either going to pick Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. So Travis Hunter went to the Jaguars here. So the Giants picked up Abdul Carter from Penn State. Great pass rusher, edge player. And I think he's just going to be a great player on the Giants. Definitely going to do very well with Dexter Lawrence there on the defensive line. He can also play like linebacker in situations there. He can also play cover 2 zone, cover 3 zone. So I think that the Giants got really great player here. And so it was either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, and they got Abdul Carter here. So great pick for the Giants here. Then we move on to Will Campbell, LSU, drafted by the Patriots here. And I think the Patriots got much needed help on the offensive line to protect Drake May here, and I think that the Patriots made a very good choice here, getting a very good offensive lineman, probably going to be a star lineman in the future in the NFL. Definitely going to be a day 1 star lineman on the Patriots. So just great pick by the Patriots here, trying to rebuild that dynasty I see, and so just a great pick there. Seahawks have much with that Patriots Super Bowl. Much hatred there with that Patriots Super Bowl there, but the Patriots did indeed get a good pick there. Let's go on to the 5th pick, and so the Browns, remember, they traded back for this pick. The Jaguars got the 2nd, Browns would get the 5th, which was the Jaguars' former spot, and they chose Mason Graham. I think the Browns did an amazing job here getting draft capital, as you would say, and now they have like 2 first-round picks for next year's draft, which is pretty crazy. But getting Mason Graham here, they got a really good defensive lineman, which with Myles Garrett, that's also going to be amazing for them. So I think they did a really, really good job here drafting back, getting more picks, and then acquiring a great player still. So great job there by the Browns. And then they later draft Gabriel and then Sanders after Gabriel, which was very surprising. They actually traded that up with my Seahawks there. And as you know, as a Seahawks fan, I think it was super exciting getting Jalen Millen. We did have to trade Sam Howell, but we got the Vikings pick. And then also we still have Drew Lock, and then Sam Darnold's probably going to be starting quarterback. But here we go. We got pick 6, Ashton Jeanty, just an electric player coming from college for Boise State. I think the Raiders got a very, very good pick here. And if you're not keeping up with the draft and you're more towards like college football, just amazing player. He has so many great running back highlights at Boise State, as you may know. And so with the NFL draft, I think that Ashton Jeanty, just great player here. I know Pete Carroll, now going to be the oldest head coach on the Raiders here. He got probably like the next Marshawn Lynch now on the Raiders here. Then they, of course, have Geno Smith still in this. So I just think that the Raiders acquiring a great running back here. And I know many Cowboys fans were hoping to get Ashton Jeanty, but the Raiders picking early here to get them. But, I mean, the Cowboys got themselves another Tyler. They have so many Tylers on the team. But they got a really good offensive lineman, the Cowboys. But the Raiders here, Ashton Jeanty, just great pick. And you could see 2,601 rushing yards in 2024, ranked second in NCAA history behind Barry Sanders, as you know, a great legend. So amazing pick there by the Raiders. Then we go on to the Jets, Armand Membu, offensive lineman from Missouri. I mean, they are a fierce blocker. And so the Jets acquiring this pick here, they acquire much needed help on the offensive line behind now Justin Fields. Then they still have Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. So the Jets are just building up a superstar team here. And I think the Jets acquired a really, really great pick here. So congrats to the Jets. Very amazing offensive lineman here. He's going to be definitely a day one starter. And then we go to wide receiver to Tor McMillan. It was a pretty surprising pick here, as well as the surprising trade from the Jaguars and Browns there. But this was another surprising thing that happened here with the Panthers choosing McMillan. I mean, I think the Panthers got a really great pick here. They got an electric player. I think many Seahawks players were many Seahawks fans were thinking that we may get McMillan, but I just feel like McMillan was more higher up in the draft from where the Seahawks position was. So the Panthers, they're acquiring McMillan. They acquired a very good and star wide receiver for Bryce Young here. And so I think the Panthers got an amazing wide receiver here. And I think it was just very surprising. But I think that the Panthers selected probably one of the best wide receivers in the draft, next to Travis Hunter, who was a cornerback, who in the scouting combine and during the draft cornerback, but he can play both wide receiver and cornerback. But definitely Tor McMillan, amazing player and first round pick from Arizona, which I think is one of the first round picks that an Arizona player in the NFL draft has ever happened. So great pick there by the Panthers. Then we go on to the Saints. They acquired an offensive lineman. That's the third offensive lineman in the draft. Lots of offensive linemen in this first round here, which was pretty crazy and pretty epic as well. I mean, linemen, they should deserve more credit. They do so much work. And so Kelvin Banks Jr. here from Texas, I mean, just another amazing offensive lineman here. And I mean, the Seahawks as ourselves acquiring an offensive lineman. I'll talk about that pick soon, but yeah, just Kelvin Banks Jr. here for the Saints, amazing pick. Then they go on to draft Show, which the whole thing with Shedeur Sanders and Show, but I mean, the Saints, I think they got a really good pick here for offensive line, and so much needed help on the offensive line there, and I think the Saints got a really good pick here. Then we go on to pick number 10. I mean, it was kind of surprising here, but I think I like this pick for the Bears because Colston Loveland, they can definitely improve on their offense and their weaponry, because during free agency they got so many good players. And I think they may have also got Thuney from the Chiefs, but I'm not sure. You may have to Yeah, I think they did, but yeah, Colston Loveland here, tight end. Like the Bears, they definitely like the champions of like the free agency here. And so acquiring Colston Loveland, like they're gonna have like an amazing like weaponry here for the Bears. And so I think the Bears are definitely improving and are making very good decisions here. And I liked how during the draft it was like the Bears and Packers went back and forth with each other. Like Packers cheering and then them like booing the Bears and then other way around. But I think the Bears got a really good pick here of Colston Loveland, Michigan. I mean, I think that was a very surprising but very awesome pick there for the Bears. Then we go on to pick 11, Mykel Williams. We know that the 49ers, that they lost a lot through free agency. And so the 49ers here trying to rebuild their defense. They got a lot of defensive picks this draft. And so I think the 49ers just trying to rebuild here. I think they're doing the very right choices that they're doing for trying to rebuild their team here. So getting Mykel Williams from Georgia here, I think the 49ers made a very good pick here. Seahawks rivals, as you know, and Brock Purdy, of course, getting his payday. That's big for him, so congratulations to Brock Purdy. But Mykel Williams here, great pick for the 49ers. They're definitely trying to rebuild. Now we move on to pick number 12 with the Cowboys here. They acquired Tyler Booker, like I mentioned earlier. And I think the Cowboys, I mean, of course, Ashton Jeanty going off the boards. I mean, I think they still have, like, a good running back room. But, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott still, he's a good running back. I mean, but he's getting older as time goes on. But I think getting Tyler Booker here definitely helping for the offensive line in case Zach Martin may, retire or go. But I think that the Cowboys got a very good pick here for offensive linemen. The Cowboys, all around, they still have, a really good team. It's just last year's, struggles with some things. So, but I think, bringing in, with a new head coach, the Cowboys can really try to bounce back this year. It's just they got to go all in. And I know all the memes with, all in and the Cowboys and that stuff, but I think the Cowboys, they really got a good pick here, but they have to really be serious if they want to, go, all in on trying to become the best team that they can be. And so I think the Cowboys making the right choice here. I think the Cowboys got a really, really good offensive lineman, of course, from Alabama. And you see Jalen Milroe back there who would become drafted to the Seahawks. But I think the Cowboys really got a really good player here with Tyler Booker. Another Tyler to your team. And so I think the Cowboys got a really good player here. Congratulations. And now on to pick 13 in the first round. The Dolphins got Kenneth Grant from Michigan, another great Michigan defensive lineman. And Michigan got so many players drafted here in this draft, and so many first round players off the boards who were from Michigan. So Kenneth Grant here, DT from Michigan. I think the Dolphins got a really good pick here, definitely improving their defensive line, who they really need help on that side of the ball. But I think Kenneth Grant here is going to be a powerhouse. And I think he's just going to be he's going to be a Calais Campbell here for the Dolphins. And so I think he's going to be just a really good player. And this will definitely help the Dolphins out in the future. So just great pick there by the Miami Dolphins. And I think they're going to do amazing things with Kenneth Grant. Now we move on to pick 14, second tight end off the board. I think that was, Kenneth Grant, the second, defensive tackle off the board. Inside. But we got second tight end off the board, Tyler Warren from Penn State. He's a great player. Between Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren, I think they're both very good tight ends, and they're both very unique and different tight ends, and they're very good at what they have to do. It says he's a Swiss Army knife here. And I did a video of him being drafted, which has 2.2K views or something like that. But I think Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State, really, really good pick here by the Colts. And he's going to be probably the future tight end. There's still that QB battle between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. I mean, both really good quarterbacks. I think Anthony Richardson, he has lots of time to develop in that. So I think Anthony Richardson, he could of course be a really good QB1 starter. Daniel Jones, of course, as well. But we're going to find out who's going to be the QB1 for the Colts here in the future. But Tyler Warren, just great pick for the Colts. He's definitely going to be a superstar tight end for them, I think. And 25 total touchdowns, 153 receptions, 1,839 receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns 19 among tight ends. So great pick here by the Colts. They move on to Jalen Walker by the Falcons, and the Falcons actually got a linebacker in the first round, and then they got an edge in the first round. So the Falcons, I think, had a really good draft here, and they didn't draft another quarterback in the first round like they did last year. But I think that the Falcons drafting the quarterback last year, like it was like Kirk Cousins, and then you had like Michael Penix Jr. Now Michael Penix Jr. is like the quarterback there, and then they still have Kirk Cousins there. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with Kirk Cousins, but yeah, I think the Falcons with getting more defense is definitely huge for them in the future of their franchise, because they really, if they have more defensive superstars that can really support them there, I think the NFC South is definitely going to be like better this year. And so hopefully in the NFC West, you have the Seahawks being dominant, but we'll see. Seahawks made a lot of changes, like Cooper Kupp, like all of my Seahawks jerseys, like I have to get totally new ones, because like all these like players I've had before are now on different teams. Like I have Geno Smith, and I have like a Bobby Wagner, DK Metcalf. We know Bobby Wagner went to the Commanders, and they did super amazing this year. But with Jalen Walker here, LB from Georgia, I think the Falcons got a really good pick here. I mean, linebacker is definitely gonna be a linebacker and edge player. He's like similar to like Abdul Carter, but he's like more a linebacker. Abdul Carter's more edge rusher. And so I think and he's of course from Georgia. Georgia just a very good defensive school, as you know, from the 2 national championships. But yeah, Jalen Walker, he's gonna be like a big player for the Atlanta Falcons here, and I think the Falcons getting 2 very good like defensive players here, definitely in the front 7. That's gonna be pivotal for them, and that's gonna make them like a super powerhouse on defense. So just great pick here from the Falcons. Then we move on to pick 16, the Cardinals. They got a defensive tackle here, Ole Miss, Walter Nolan. I think they got a really like surprising pick here, but I think it's like a very good pick for them here, because it could definitely help their like front 4 up there. And I think Walter Nolan will be a really good defensive piece for the Cardinals here from Ole Miss. I mean he's like similar to like Ed Oliver. And so I think Walter Nolan, he's definitely going to become a really good player here. And for the Cardinals, I think that's just huge for them. I know Patrick Peterson went, but I think they got like a safety or like player later in the draft who could fill like Patrick Peterson's role because he retired. I think on the offense, the Cardinals are staying comfortably there. But on defense, this was huge for the Cardinals, because they're definitely trying to up their defense here. And Walter Nolan, just a great pick there from the Cardinals. Okay, now we go on to the 17th pick here, to the Bengals. They got a defensive player, because you know their offense is loaded and stacked, and so they're just trying to focus on defense here, trying to really improve their defense, because you know the Bengals, just their offense is just already like just amazing. Like you couldn't really like do any more improvements. But on defense, like they're trying to like get more pieces there to the puzzle, because you know they're definitely like they can definitely be like a playoff team. So, and they were definitely Super Bowl contenders. They did play in a Super Bowl years ago. But Shamar Stewart here, edge, like fitting well with Trey Hendrickson. Then you got Shamar Stewart. That's going to be like a nasty duo there on the front 4 on the defense. And so then the Bengals, like definitely their secondary they could probably like improve upon, but I think the Bengals, they got a really good pick here on defense, and I think the Bengals definitely are trying to improve on defense here to be the best team that they can possibly be. Okay, now we go on to my Seattle Seahawks. Offensive lineman, Gray Zabel, offensive guard. The first FCS player off the board here, North Dakota State. And I think the Seahawks got an amazing, pure amazing pick here. Going to be an amazing offensive lineman. You already know that we got Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas. We already know they're 2 really good offensive linemen, but having Gray Zabel, we'll have 3 really good offensive linemen now. We can definitely improve with our offensive line. We got Cooper Kupp, Sam Darnold, Kenneth Walker, Noah Fant. I think he's a good tight end there. And we're trying to also rebuild the Legion of Doom. And then we got Jalen Milroe later in the draft, and then Nick Emanwari as well. Nick Emanwari definitely going to be like our new Cam Chancellor. And so I think we're definitely building the Legion of Boom. But I have a new name for like the Legion of Boom, and I think it could be called like the Legion of Doom, like the Legion of Boom 2.0, the Legion of Doom. I think that would be super cool. I think that would be a super cool nickname for them. So I think the Seahawks definitely, hey, we're going to make it to the playoff this year. That's what I'm hoping for. And then hopefully the Super Bowl. That's my dream. And yeah, the Seahawks, really great pick here with Gray Zabel. And if you see his highlights, he literally like pulls defenders and like takes them to the ground. Like, Gray Zabel deciding to stay with North Dakota State. Very loyal player, very great player. And I mean, I think great pick here from the Seahawks to get Gray Zabel. He's going to be a great player. Go Hawks. 12th fan forever. Okay, now we go on to the Buccaneers. Emeka Egbuka. Ohio State, as you know, I think he was like the all-time Ohio State like receiving yard player. And then Jeremiah Smith, freshman right now. He's going to try to beat Emeka Egbuka. He's going to be amazing in the draft, like in the future here. But Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State. I mean, I think it was a great pick here from the Buccaneers. They already have Chris Godwin, and they have Mike Evans, but having another third, like, dual threat wide receiver here, Emeka Egbuka, I think they're set on their wide receiver room for sure. Baker Mayfield now has so many weapons to throw to, with also their offensive line amazing. Their defense is already amazing from, that Super Bowl that they played in a while back. So, Lavonte David may be in the NFL forever. I'm not too sure, but Emeka Egbuka, Buccaneers, Ohio State wide receiver, great pick for the Buccaneers here. And I think he's just going to be so versatile, so fast, so speedy on those like corner and quick routes right there. Great pick by the Buccaneers here. Looking for the future here with Emeka Egbuka. Okay, now we go to the 20th pick here, Jahdae Barron, cornerback, Texas. Broncos, they're going to have like the best like secondary in the league. Except if you have to compare the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks have the best secondary in the league because I'm a Seahawks fan. But I think the Broncos, they would probably have the best secondary in the league. Because now they have Jahdae Barron. They have Patrick Surtain. Their just secondary is going to be brutal. And then they also got Greenlaw now as a linebacker. Like, the Broncos defense is going to be brutal next year for teams. And then their offense, definitely Bo Nix. They've been improving a lot here, but I think this pick just shows how the Broncos are going to have such a scary secondary. It's going to be, like, crazy. Like, they're going to be crazy good. Broncos, I think, had a great, like, amazing pick here, like, probably the best pick they could take here. So I think the Broncos, they're definitely going to have a great, great season next year, making it to the playoffs last year, and so they're just going to be brutal next year. Now we have the Steelers. This was a pretty surprising pick, and they didn't take Shedeur Sanders here. He went to the 5th round. He could have been picked by the Titans and then could have played with Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. That would have been very funny. Or like the Seahawks or like any team, or the Chiefs or the Eagles could pick him. But Shedeur Sanders goes to the Browns, and he could probably be a starter there. But Steelers, Derek Harmon, I think it was a great pick here for the Steelers. He like sheds blocks like very, very well if you've seen his highlights. He's similar to Leonard Williams now in the Seahawks. Great defensive line. Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams. Uchenna Nwosu. We also got DeMarcus Lawrence, the Seahawks defense, Legion of Doom. That's what I'm talking about. But Steelers here have Derek Harmon, and then you have T.J. Watt. And then you will, of course, have Cameron Hayward. Like, their defensive line is going to be brutal here. Of course, they have DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, always a Seahawk in my heart. Then they also have Pickens, the Steelers. And then they're probably going to get Aaron Rodgers, but he has still not signed with the team yet. I'm not sure if now he has signed. Well, no, he hasn't signed with the team yet. But he's probably going to go to the Steelers, so. But yeah, Steelers need. But yeah, he's probably going to sign with the Steelers. He hasn't signed with the team yet still. There's so many teams that were open for him, and he still has been waiting. But he's probably going to go to the Steelers as their quarterback because I don't think they drafted a quarterback in the draft, so he's probably going to be Aaron Rodgers as the Steelers quarterback. But they're going to have to look for the future after Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old and or younger or older. Well, probably 40 years and or older, but yeah. But the Steelers, great pick here for Derek Harmon. I think a lot of teams for Shedeur Sanders over analyzing or stuff, or because of the interviews or stuff. But he became a 5th round pick. I think Shedeur Sanders is still going to be a good player in the NFL. So, but yeah, Derek Harmon, great pick here for the Steelers. Now we go on to Omarion Hampton, running back, and this was the second running back picked. He had similar amount of yardage to Ashton Jeanty here, and we knew coming up to the draft that Omarion Hampton could definitely be a first-round pick, and that's what he became to the Chargers. And Chargers, I think they also got Najee Harris. But now they have Omar Hampton, who's going to be a great running back as well there. And yeah, I think the Chargers just acquiring more offensive weapons. I mean, the wide receiver room, they got Ladd McConkey, but I mean, it's kind of looking a little slim there. But I mean, they got Amari and Hampton. They also drafted a wide receiver near like the end of the draft, the Chargers did. But I mean, getting a really good, solid running back here for the future, I mean, that's pivotal for the Chargers here. You know, Harbaugh likes the running game a lot, of course. And so Justin Herbert, I think the Chargers are going to be good again next year. So I think they may be like above average, but yeah, I think Omar and Hampton here. I think the Chargers got a really good pick here for running back Omar and Hampton. Great pick here from the Chargers. Then we go to the Packers. Matthew Golden, first wide receiver pick since 2002, I believe, and from Texas. I think the Packers got an amazing pick here. Definitely a lot of hype for Packers fans there. And I think it really made the community like bond together there at the draft, and just acquiring Matthew Golden. I think that really hyped up Packers fans for next season. You know that the Packers have always been like a great team. They've always been like playoff contenders. I believe they'll be playoff contenders next year as well. Just Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love. I mean, getting Josh Jacobs, that was huge for them. But I mean, Jordan Love, they got Matthew Golden. So the Packers are definitely going to be a really good, solid team, like a top-tier team up there next season, of course. Getting Matthew Golden, they're just boosting their wide receiver room even more. The Packers, they know what they're doing. Non-profit organizations, so a lot of fans are owners there. And so I think Matthew Golden here, just a very electrifying, hyped up, amazing pick here for the Packers, and they're going to be really happy with this pick here. Then we go on to Donovan Jackson, offensive guard. So that may be like the fourth or like fifth offensive lineman here in the draft in the first round, which is pretty crazy. And then you may have like a sixth or seventh or fifth or sixth. Two more offensive linemen, one to the Commanders, one to the Chiefs. And so Donovan Jackson, Ohio State to the Vikings. They're improving on their offensive line to project now J.J. McCarthy, because remember, Sam Darnold's on the Seahawks now. Go Hawks, go Birds. But Donovan Jackson here, I think he's a great pick. Ohio State. He's definitely going to be a powerful blocker here for the Vikings here. And I think he's going to be really good against like top defensive linemen out there. And especially like rookie defensive linemen in the league that are on other teams. And so I think he's just going to be amazing and super great for the inside blocking for the Vikings. And he's going to be a great pick here for the Vikings. And they had him overall 55 ranked. I think he's higher, but I mean, Donovan Jackson here, great pick for the Vikings, and they're definitely improving on offense as a franchise. Then we go to the Giants' second pick here. They traded with the Texans for this pick, and so the Giants got Jackson Dart here from Ole Miss. And they already have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, so this was like, I think we knew that Jackson Dart could probably be first round pick here, and he did to the Giants here. The Giants, there's a lot of pressure on Dable and the GM there for the Giants that they have to win games or else they may be fired next season. And so there's definitely a lot of pressure on them to win games. So the Giants are just getting whatever players they can to have a winning record next year. Like they got Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart. Then they got Abdul Carter, and they're probably just trying to find any way to just have a winning season next year. I think every team should just find a way to have like an improving and winning season. But Giants here, they go with a quarterback here for the future. And so I think he may probably see playing time, but I think the Giants are definitely going to start Russell Wilson because, you know, Russell Wilson, great player. I think the Giants made a very good pick there, and now we're moving on to pick 26 here. The Falcons' second pick here, and they got another great defensive player, James Pierce Jr. here. I think they traded up for this pick here. Yep, they did trade up for this pick here, I remember. And they got Tennessee edge rusher James Pierce Jr. And I mean, he's a great player. He ran a sub 4.540, which is very amazing. And even more than that, he got a 10-yard, the quickest 10-yard split, 1.56 seconds for the edges at the combine. And he had a very great NFL combine, NFL draft combine. And James Pierce Jr., you know, he had an amazing, and great college season at Tennessee. And he was, of course, coming into the NFL draft here as a very top prospect, and as a very top player here. Very top prospect and very top player here. James Pierce Jr., great pick for the Falcons. And teaming up with, if I remember, Jalen Walker. So with Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. here, Georgia and Tennessee, I believe, great players here in the Falcons. They're definitely improving on defense, and I think this is a very great pick here for the Falcons here at pick 26 here. So just amazing pick there for the Falcons. James Pierce Jr., definitely going to be a star in the league. Then we go on to pick 27. I thought this was an amazing pick here as well. With the Ravens, getting Malaki Starks from Georgia. And Malaki Starks, I think he's like one of the best like safeties like out there. And I think he's like, just like for college, I think he's probably like the top safety out there coming into the draft here. And I think he was chosen as the top safety here. And yeah, Malaki Starks, I really like the Ravens picking Malaki Starks here. Another great player. He's got a well-remembered name. And Derrick Henry, that doesn't have to do with anything, but the Ravens got like a really great player here. Malaki Starks, they got Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson on offense, the Malaki Starks on defense, with, of course, Humphrey, and then they got Hamilton. So Malaki Starks and Hamilton, that's going to be a brutal safety room and secondary right there. And so Malaki Starks here for the Ravens, I think that was just like an amazing pick. Harbaugh, there's two Harbaughs, they're brothers, if you know football. But yeah, Harbaugh getting Malaki Starks here for Georgia for the Ravens. Just a great pick here. I think the Ravens are going to really like this pick here. Then we go on to the Lions here with Tyleik Williams from Ohio State. And he got 100 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, and 5.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons. And, the Lions, they were either going to get, it was the other Ohio State rusher, it was the other Ohio State rusher, and then Tyleik Williams here. But yeah, the Ohio State, they had amazing pass rushers. Ohio State, of course, is like a $1 billion football program. And getting Tyleik Williams here, just an amazing pick here for the Lions here. And they're definitely improving on defense. And with Tyleik Williams as a defensive tackle here, they have amazing edge rushers, but as a defensive tackles Ohio State as well, because they're the national championship team, so they definitely gonna have first round picks here. But Tyleik Williams here for the Lions, just a great pick. And I'm gonna look up here who the Ohio State rushers were, cause I remember it was like okay, so there's Trayvon Henderson also won in the draft, great player, and then Quentin Judkins as well, 2 great running backs. So the Steelers got one of the edge rushers. It's Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer. So I just looked up Jack Sawyer. It was also the other pick that people think like the Lions could take, but they took Tyleik Williams here, who I think just an amazing player. For the inside here, so you got Aiden Hutchinson on the outside, and then you got Tyleik Williams on the inside. So that defensive line, front four is going to be brutal. Lions definitely improving, taking a great pick here. So Lions definitely overall just an amazing team. Going to be great next season. Definitely winning record playoffs. Commanders here, great season. NFC Championship game with a rookie quarterback, Jane Daniels. They went from a losing season all the way to an amazing winning season, and that's how you rebound as a team, and that's how you go all in here. And taking an offensive lineman to help protect Jane Daniels. I believe they also got another offensive lineman through free agency. So I think it was Tyron Smith or someone, but yeah, the Commanders getting Josh Connerly Jr. here. Commanders getting a great offensive lineman here from Oregon, of course, great team. Last year in college football. And the Commanders got an amazing pick here. Josh Connerly Jr., he's just going to be a spectacular player here. And he's just going to be brutal for the Commanders' offensive line to protect Jaden Daniels even more. And he's already have so many offensive weapons. And the running back room is also looking pretty good as well. So Commanders going to have another great season next year, definitely competing with Eagles and Cowboys, and the Giants are going to try to also get up there as well. So the NFC East is going to be brutal as well here. Then we go on to the Bills pick 30, Maxwell Hairston, cornerback, and he was super excited to be drafted here. He's going to be a great player for the Bills there. I think the Bills, getting a great cornerback here to help their secondary here. I think the Bills already have a great offense and just improving their defense even more. And then they also signed Joey Bosa, I know, in free agency. So the Bills are definitely going to improve on defense here. And then Josh Allen, he's a game changer, and that's like a big reason why the Bills have been making these playoff games and AFC Championship games. I think the Bills next year are going to have another great season and great players. So Bills definitely going to be a winning team next year in the NFL. Great pick here with Maxwell Hairston. Then we go on to the Eagles and Chiefs here. They matched up in the Super Bowl. And so the Eagles traded up with the Chiefs here, and they selected Jahad Campbell, which I don't know why NFL teams let the Eagles get Jahad Campbell here. But the Eagles did, and they got an amazing linebacker. Now I think they will have Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell here at linebacker, improving their defense even more. And they still have a lot of acquisitions from last year, and they're building upon those acquisitions, like building upon a Super Bowl team. They have a high chance next year for winning another Super Bowl. And Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith offense, and then their defensive line is so brutal. Like, the Eagles are going to have, probably, a Super Bowl, season, next year if teams are not careful. And so Jahad Campbell here, amazing pick for the Eagles. He's got to be excited. First-round pick to the Eagles. That's got to be, a dream come true for him right there. So Jahad Campbell, great pick by the Eagles here from Alabama. And I think the Eagles just did another amazing thing. Howie is just cooking over there. Then we go to the Chiefs. They also have a high chance of making the Super Bowl next year. Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs. You never know what's gonna come. They're like the next dynasty here. That's similar to the Patriots dynasty, but they're the Chiefs dynasty here. They're trying to rule the 2020s decades here to make it the Chiefs kingdom here. But the Chiefs, I think Thuney, I don't know why they did that trade. They maybe just save on cap space and stuff. But I think they should have kept Thuney, their center. He's a great center, but they got an offensive lineman here, Josh Simmons, to try to fill in the role for that. And I think the Chiefs just getting another pivotal player here from Ohio State, of course, a national champion. Now he may try to become a Super Bowl champion here with the Chiefs. But I think the Chiefs, they still have a really good team. That was hard for them in the Super Bowl. But look at all the Super Bowls that they have won. Chiefs, they definitely have a bright future for themselves, and they're definitely going to have a playoff season, I think, next year. Definitely a winning season, and they could potentially go back to the Super Bowl once again. Patrick Mahomes, you never know. Great player, and they just have a great team, so great pick here from the Chiefs. And I think all the teams made great first-round picks here. I think the Seahawks, to myself, made the best pick, but out of all the picks, I think all the teams just made good picks for their teams. Cam Ward was the top pick. Then Josh Simmons was the last player taken in the first round. I think throughout the whole entire draft, it doesn't really matter where you get drafted, what you do. It's what you do when you get drafted. It's what you do when you go to the NFL. And so I think all these players that are going into the league are going to have great seasons and great careers. And that's my preview, and that's my overview of the first round of the NFL draft here. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And to subscribe, we're trying to reach the road to 100 subscribers. And I'm doing this for you guys. And just thank you all so much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Remember that God is always good. Peace.